The Last Frontiers begins with a Fly Dubai flight into Hargeisa, capital of Somaliland. After 2 nights here, we take a 5-hour drive crossing the Ethiopian border into the fabled Islamic town of Harar, where we will stay for 2 nights. Leaving Harar, we head south via Adama to the lovely town of Arba Minch, gateway to the southern tribes of Ethiopia. After 2 nights here, we take a short drive to Konso, where we meet the Konso people and their king, and then head for Termi for 3 nights. This area is just 90 kilometers from the border with Kenya, and it's home to the famous Hama and Mercy tribes. We then move to Jinka for a night before flying to Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, where we will stay for 2 nights. And after Ethiopia, it's on to Madagascar. The flight from Dubai to Hargeisa, Somaliland, is just 4 hours, and it brings us into another world. This is the view from the airport plateau overlooking Hargeisa, capital of Somaliland, home to 1.2 million people. During the Somali Civil War of 1991, Hargeisa was largely destroyed, but today it is like a phoenix risen from the ashes. This is a country that is completely different to Somalia, its chaotic neighbour. But despite having its own flag, its own set of laws, currency, military, license plates and passports, it is unrecognised by the outside world. Hargeisa is one of the friendliest places in the world, and it has 3 amazing markets. The first is the vibrant Central Market. The second is an extraordinary open-air money market. Giant piles of money sitting in the centre of the street. This wad is $75 or $500,000 Somaliland shillings, and this is $10. And the third is this. Somaliland has the highest number of camels per head of population in Africa, and it boasts the continent's biggest camel and livestock market. Every day, 5,000 people flock to this open-air camel bazaar, creating an amazing spectacle. A good male camel weighing in at 300 kilos can go for $1,000, while a goat can cost up to $80. On one of our days in Somaliland, we drive an hour out of Hargeisa to Lazgil, the site of some of the finest rock art in the world. These extensive and beautiful prehistoric cave paintings are 10,000 years old. Astonishingly, they were only discovered in 2002 by French archaeologists. Though Somaliland has well and truly moved on from the war with Somalia, some of the scars are still there. This is a MiG-17, which was shot down in July 1988. Now it is a memorial in the very heart of the city. But before we move on, one question remains. Is Somaliland a country or not? The last word goes to our great friend and guide, Khalid.
Somaliland is not Somalia.
It's a 90-minute drive to reach the Somaliland-Ethiopian border, and the crossing is fast and efficient. By lunchtime, we arrive in the holy city of Harar. This city was a portal for Islam on the African continent as it swept in from the Arabian Peninsula. Dating back to the 6th century, Harar is the 4th holiest city in the Muslim world. It is a labyrinth of alleyways where time has stood still. It is a manifestation of 1001 nights. The whole city is fortified by 5-meter high walls with 5 gates that allow entrance into the city. This is a living and breathing museum. "500 years ago, there was a famine in Harar. It was so severe that hyenas used to sneak into the city at night, and they would take cattle and small children. So the elders got together and decided to make a pact with the hyenas. They would feed them with what they had. Today, the bond between man and beast has to be seen to be believed. Every night, hyenas come in to be fed. It is the only place in the world where such a spectacle can be seen. Since this pact began, man and beast have lived in harmony. After our 2 nights in Harar, we leave for the nearby town of Diwadawa to catch the new train to Adama, close to Addis Ababa. But on the way we stop to see an amazing market. The only thing sold here is chat, a stimulant where the leaves are chewed. This is probably the biggest chat market in the country, and the crop is Ethiopia's 2nd largest foreign exchange earner. Diwadawa train station, and the start of the most famous new railway in Africa. Opened up to great pomp and ceremony in 2018, it connects the Red Sea port of Djibouti to Addis Ababa. The train follows the original French line of 1902 as it crosses the vast Ogaden region and across the Rift Valley floor. The journey to Adama will take us 7 hours. It's clean, comfortable and efficient. By early evening, we reach Adama, and after a night here, we drive to Arba Minch, gateway to the southern tribes of Ethiopia. Our 2 nights here are at the magnificent Haidi resort on a stunning escarpment overlooking the Rift Valley lakes of Chamo and Abaya, with a backdrop of mountains and forests. It's in the mountains that flank Arba Minch that we meet our first tribe in South Ethiopia, the Dorzi. This friendly and welcoming tribe are distinguished by their homes, which are made of bamboo and thatch of enset leaves or false banana. These homes take around 3 months to make and are enduring, some of them being nearly 100 years old. Historically, the Dorzi were feared warriors, and today they are subsistent farmers and weavers for which they are famous throughout the country. Already the difference between North Ethiopia is stark, reflected in lush vegetation, skin colour and dance. This is where Ethiopia really meets Africa. The next morning, we leave Arba Minch for the 2-hour drive south to Konso. We soon start to see the unique and ingenious terracing of the fascinating Konso tribe. This is a dry, hilly environment at the edge of the Rift Valley where water is scarce and the terracing supports a variety of edible crops. The dry stone terracing is not only used to prevent soil erosion, but also to fortify the densely populated villages. As a consequence of their difficult environment, the Konso tribe are very conscientious and disciplined. The next morning we leave Konso and continue our drive further south to Termi, our base for the next 3 nights. As we enter the Omo Valley, we are just 90 kilometers from the border with Kenya. We soon come face to face with the Harar tribe, perhaps the most authentic of Ethiopia's southern tribes, and by lunchtime we arrive in the small town of Termi. The Harar women pay great attention to their appearance. Their hair is created by mixing red ochre with water and butter, and their bodies are adorned with polished iron jewellery and a multitude of colourful beads. We timed the last Frontiers tour after the harvest in August because of an extraordinary ritual called bull leaping. Part of this ceremony involves the whipping of female relatives. It's a show of loyalty where the women actually beg to be whipped and proudly show off their scars. Today, this boy is the bull leaper and success will qualify him to be a man. It is an initiation rite of passage. He must jump over a line of bulls 6 times without falling off. To the southeast of the Omo River is the Karo tribe. This ethnic group are the smallest of the southern tribes, numbering just over 1,000. Their customs and way of life have remained the same for over 500 years. The Karo mark their social status and personal identity by decorating their skin and are considered the masters of body painting. White chalk mixed with water imitate the plumage of birds. Another tribe that we visit deep in the heart of the Omo Valley is the Mercy. They number around 10,000 and they are the last tribe in Africa to wear the wooden disc plate in their mouth. After a week in the Omo Valley, we leave from Jinka to fly to Addis Ababa for 2 nights before the next section of the tour, Madagascar. The flight to Antananarivo, capital of Madagascar, is 5 hours. We will spend 10 nights on this unique island, starting with 2 nights in Tana. We then head south to the town of Ansarabi. We have a chance here to witness an unbelievable festival. After 2 nights here, we head into the rainforest of Ranamafama, home to the rare and shy golden bamboo lemur. After a stay of 2 nights, we move to the Jurassic Park of the island, Isalo, for 2 nights. We then take an exciting drive across the central plateau and down to the town of Ifate on the Mozambique Channel. We stay here 2 nights before flying back to the capital and then driving north to Andasibi National Park, where we meet the largest lemur on the island, the Indri. After 2 nights here, we drive back to Tana in time to board our flight to return to Australia. When we land in Madagascar, we are met by Diari. He is our guide, tour leader, and our great friend for more than 10 years.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the unique island of Madagascar. My name is Diari. I'm a naturalist tour guide and tour leader from these treasure islands. Today, I'm so delighted to share with you my passion for my home country Madagascar, and I hope you enjoy it.
Antananarivo, or Tana, comprises of 3 different levels in the central highlands. It is a wonderful architectural melding of French and Malagasy. It is a charming capital. The city's main boulevard is typically Parisian, with the railway station at the end.
After seeing Tana and its surroundings, we are ready to drive down to the spa town of Antsirabe, which takes about 4 hours drive from the capital. On the bus!
When we reach Ansarabi, we meet an amazing miniature master. This craftsman has been making miniature models of cars, bicycles, rickshaws, etc. for 30 years. They are intricately made using recycled parts like aluminium cans and tyres. And we use traditional transport to see this grand colonial town. But our real reason to come to Ansarabi is to witness an astonishing event, Diari explains.
Here in Madagascar, we practice both Christianity and animism beliefs. So we believe that God Creator is the source of life, and the ancestors are the connecting link transmitting life between God and the living. So we practice this joyous musical day to obey and revere our ancestors. And we take them out of the family tomb and rewrap them with a new silk shroud to be warm. And more importantly, this is a momentous occasion to afford benediction from our ancestors and consolidate the family ties among the descendants.
We leave Ansarabi for Ranamafana National Park for a stay of 2 nights. This tropical rainforest has a unique biodiversity, and it is home to one of the most endangered species in the world, the golden bamboo lemur. This primate was actually believed to be extinct until it was rediscovered in 1987. It is an extremely shy lemur that lives at the top of the trees. Their diet is bamboo, which contains cyanide. They will eat 50 grams a day, which represents 10 times the lethal dose for other mammals. And this forest is the only habitat in the world where they can exist. When we leave the forest, we cross the central massif that separates East and West Madagascar, and we enter a new temperate zone with massive granite outcrops. This otherworldly landscape is Madagascar's Jurassic Park. Our stay in Isalo is here, at Jardin d'Oy, a beautiful hotel that is ingeniously camouflaged amongst the granite and sandstone moonscape. Leaving Isalo, we head down to the Mozambique Channel, and the vegetation once again changes. Now we're in a world of spiny forests and baobab trees that are among the oldest in the world. Our 2-night stay in Ifate is right on the Mozambique Channel, and it provides a fantastic portal to observe the Veso fishing peoples whose lives on this beach have remained unchanged for centuries. While we're in Ifate, we take a boat out onto the channel. Between July and August, thousands of humpback whales migrate from Antarctica to the warm waters of the Mozambique Channel, where they will give birth and rear their young. Though sightings are not always guaranteed, whale watching is a spectacular and exhilarating experience. Leaving Ifate, we fly back to Tana and then drive north to Andasibi for the last 2 nights of the tour. This is where we will meet another rare lemur. The injury, like the golden bamboo, is critically endangered.
I say it again, how nice you are, Madagascar.
Both the male and female species remain monogamous throughout the whole course of their lives. Even if one partner dies, they will never find another. The injury can only live in this national park. Weighing up to 9 kilos, the injury is the largest of all lemurs. It is a great flagship lemur of Madagascar. But what makes this lemur so extraordinary is its haunting cry. It reverberates through the forest in the morning for miles. After meeting the injury, we visit the famous Lemur Island. From all over Madagascar, lemurs that were injured or caught up in the wildlife trade were taken to this island. Because they have been here for so long, they can no longer be released into the wild. So today, the island is a sanctuary where there are many species of lemur. Travel Director's Last Frontiers is a 21-day adventure that showcases 3 fascinating events that can be found nowhere else in the world. From the feeding of the hyenas in the Muslim city of Harar, to the bull leaping in South Ethiopia, and finishing with the turning of the bones in Madagascar, The Last Frontiers is a journey that has no equal.
You need you are.